next station's Heinton, but mind how you go as you step down the platform, because it's very low. If you prefer, you could use the front door, where we've had a ramp fastened to the floor. Heinton. I saw an advert in the local paper and to work on the trains, and I thought I'd never seen it advertised before. I assumed it was grandfather rights. I applied. The hardest part was probably the application form. It's about 14 pages.
So at first I didn't know who it was, and then when I spoke to other passengers on the train I realised that other people had encountered him. We all called him the rhyming conductor.
Good afternoon everyone. Hi, sitting comfortably, then I'll begin. Once upon a time there was a little train. It went to the seaside and then came back again. Cornet Shildon, Newton Aycliffe too, Heinton, Northwood we do, Darlington, Dinsdale and Allens West, and Eaglescliffe, Thornaby, Middlesbrough next. South Bank, Redcar Central and Redcar East, Lambeth and Marsh, and last but not least, Saltburn Station, the end of the line. About 10 to 3 the arrival time. Safety information.
Back in December 2014, we were asked to deliver a season's greeting. It's on the notice board at work. Be an angel this Christmas and be pleasant and nice to your fellow passengers and rail staff alike. Oh, be an angel this Christmas. That's a terrible pun, but if I do it in rhyme, then we could have some fun. So that's how it started. I made up this rhyme about Christmas, being pleasant and nice to your fellow passengers and rail staff alike. But I know my customers, you like family and friends, who don't simply follow these seasonal trends. And it went on, and everybody laughed and cheered and enjoyed it. And then, obviously after December, it wasn't appropriate. But then, what's happened to your rhymes? What's happened to your rhymes? So I made one up for the start and then one for the destination. And then a driver challenged me. I bet you can't make one up for every station on the way to Whitby. Well, I love a challenge. I also know that line fairly well. So yeah, I managed it. Some of the station ones are a little bit generic, where you could use for any station, but then some of them it might involve the local history or something like that.
Buying a ticket, please have the right money, because my tea's going cold and it's simply not funny. If you've got mobile tickets, have them ready on your screens. You wouldn't believe some of the images I've seen.
I don't drive, so I've been travelling the trains for many years, and certainly the Northern Line between Saltburn and all the way up to Durham at one point. And so my first encounter with Graham was as a conductor, and I think what you realise early on is if you travel on the trains regularly, especially really early in the morning, because everyone has a different personality really early in the morning. So I was on the 7:20 train. You work out who the cheerful conductors are, and you work out who the grumpy conductors are. And a cheerful conductor can absolutely make your day and start your day in the right way. So when I'd get on the train, it's like, oh, it's Graham, that's okay. Well, I didn't know his name. I didn't know his name to the beginning of this of this project. And I'd be like, okay, it's him. It's okay. Almost superstitiously, it's like, it's going to be a good day. We started off with a good conductor. And that can be the start of a good day if you've got the right person.
The best thing that works is a smile and all that. But if these days we're in the modern world where we, unfortunately, because information is coming through, we're walking down the train looking at our phone, and that makes people think, oh, perhaps he's busy, I won't ask him the question. We've not got to forget that we do need to engage with people. We're not just a number and a figure and an email address, and we are a person. We all have our personalities as well.
Listening to the way that Graham spoke about his work, is what's most important to him is making that connection with people. So I want to look at his work and unpack those rhymes, unpack those stories, and think about who that will speak to, how that connects to different people on their different journeys. And I've been that passenger on the other end of a poem. I've been that passenger who's had a rubbish day, I've been the passenger who's just thought, oh my goodness, what's wrong with people? And then listened to the poem and thought, oh my goodness, yeah, there's kindness. Somebody's thinking about human connections. So that's going to be my process. It's going to be looking at the work, looking at the poems, and thinking about how to unpick those human connections and tell those stories behind the stories. One thing that I notice about travelling on the trains is the kindness of strangers, the generosity of people, and that comes from a certain magic that doesn't happen on any other form of transport. I mean, my dad was a fisherman, so I know a bit about boats, I've been on buses, but there is a magic on trains. I don't know whether it's a combination of the scenery or people feeling relaxed, but whatever happens, it's that magic of the train journey, of that human connection, that space that I want to capture.
Peak time, Northern Line doors crack, elbows out, no eye contact. Train zombie shuffle on, get the weight off our backs. Welcome on track. Welcome? This conductor, what's he playing at? Welcome. We zone out, detach, we sway together separate, only know each other by the colour of our coats. We come, dripping from the first dark rain of the year, slipping down our backs, sparking stars on glass. We don't chat. Safety information, front and back. His rhyming can't break here. What's safe here? We know it all. Take Lady Blah Blah, talks too loudly on personal calls. We know all her work too. Know she likes a sesh to take the edge off on a Friday. Beep, beep, boop. Here she goes. I'm too old for presents. I want to trip out with the girls. I want to walk on the beach, a bite to eat. I mean, only yesterday we were at school. Where'd it go? We want to know. We want to go. Keep your belongings always in view. We lose our longings in the bad day blues. Ah, Chatterbox, the lad who never speaks, gets on at Shildon, shoves in next to Lady Blah Blah. She hangs up. He's a train spotter, thinks we don't see. You don't want anything missing, do you? Gets his little book out at Thornaby Depot, scratching the numbers of the stock. We see the missing kid in him, see him dreaming in steam. If you see out suspicious, have a word in my ear. Chatterbox hasn't seen Lady Blah Blah for a while. She nudges him at Dinsdale. He thinks she doesn't know him, but she wants a word in his ear. Look, she says, see that sunset burning orange and red? His eyes, grazed by a smile, covers a cry with a cough. Your safety is important, that's why we're here. Tapman shifts away from the coffer. Last thing he needs is a cold, he wants to be fit for the match. 4th generation Borough supporter, tattoos on his arms and chest, but it's Keats spooling out from under his cuff. Life is but a day, a fragile dewdrop on its perilous way. Birkin Fringe has read it 100 times, like she reads the rain trails on the train window. She thinks he doesn't know her, but he does. He's seen the Robin photo on her phone. Birkin Fringe doesn't believe in ghosts, but since her husband passed, there's been a robin in the garden. And every time she gets the train, she sees the quiet girl again on her way to London. The smell of plush velvet and the rose bay willow herb waving, just like in the poem. And take all your belongings, you really must. We're the train zombies on the peak time apocalypse. We lose all our longings in the clack between the tracks. We're the railway ghosts, we haunt ourselves back. We don't know any more about one another other than our stops. We have enough lost property gathering dust. We think we don't know one another, but we do. We fragile dewdrops on this perilous train. And these crazy, unexpected couplets gather us dust to dust, spark a smile that passes from seat to seat, lighting us up. Like the night lights in the top windows in the dark yards lining the tracks. And we call him the rhyming conductor. And we think he doesn't know us, but he does. On days like these, when the rain and the hurts rust us, he makes us less lonely. He makes us a crowd. And we're so relieved it's him and not the grumpy dude. And he can't ever know our verses, but he knows how we rhyme.